Well, in neutrality of the military and the need for the military to keep off politics, and that is why the president is commander-in-chief, that the ultimate commander-in-chief of the military should be a civilian, duly elected by the people. It is an important aspect of a constitutional democracy. And as I believe Honorable Kirwa was saying, this is supposed to ensure that the military answers to the command of democracy. That is the subjugation of the people with guns to democratic governance. But this constitutional rule, it is in Uganda, as I've just said, is different in the sense that that is an active soldier in civilian garb. Mm-hmm. In places like Tanzania, it still remains a backward single-party state. Now Suluhu has removed the pretense by ensuring that she wins everything, and even there is no opposition in parliament. The more concern should be in our country, Kenya, in the sense that increasingly there is a tendency, which Honorable Kirwa was alluding to the fact that serious attempts are being made in the military to politicize it through appointments, retirements, and all these kind of things. Things that ultimately they portend a scenario where by 2027 you may have the military coming out and playing a bigger role that is not constitutionally permissible. During the Gen Z, there was absolutely no reason for the military, this Gazette notice that was done, I guess, by Duale or whoever who was there, to ensure that the military was deployed because there was nobody with guns. So, but we also need to look back and ask themselves as Kenyans, there was some naivety. As early as 2022, and I'm not surprised, it was always going to be, if you elect as president somebody who is by nature a tyrant, then you put yourself hostage to three scenarios. That ultimately, and this is a historical truism, a tyrant relies on lies, relies on money, and ultimately violence, which is institutionally comes in the form of the military. So you've seen the Gen Z, what happened in Kenya. The Gen Z, by the time when they were reaching there, they had called out the lies of the leader. So that because now you would say you are just a common liar and nobody takes you seriously. These lies are still continuing, but now these lies, uongo mashinani, that is what is going on. Because all the educated people and people who are sophisticated, they know that all these promises, these are just lies and lies. Then the second issue was bribery, money. There is mass bribery of Kenyans through all these programs, as you know them. Now, if bribery fails, and it is likely to fail, because how many people in a population of almost 60 million will you successfully bribe to know that you'll get re-elected? The final issue is going to be violence through the military, so that the militarization of the state is directly tied up to two things. You have a tyrant as president, and number two, he's facing a re-election. A re-election that by the day, you can see the formula for this re-election, 50+1. It is almost not there. Because even if you are to do a credible poll as a media station, and you ask in how many constituency, particularly the big ones with a lot of populations, can you say that 3 out of 7 people say that we are going to re-elect the president? I believe he knows that. He has a scientific mind to some extent for his own self-preservation. I believe he keeps doing the polls, and he's aware about all these things that we are talking about, so that we are facing a dire situation. But you see now also Kenyans are prepared, that they are prepared in advance that somebody is likely to resort more to violence and the military to try to keep himself in power. Unfortunately, is that never ends up well. Because when you use the military too early, he used it in the second year of his rule, people now get prepared. And everybody now, because now individual decisions must be made by the military rulers, the police and everybody else, because you must get a critical number of players willing to betray their country on behalf of a dictator for even this militarization to work. So I see dark days ahead. But these were predictable, I keep saying that, from 2022. People were simply reckless to say that anybody can be president and you expect him to rule under the constitution. I never expected that. And that to me was the biggest quarrel with this. Nothing else, by the way.
Right. As we continue examining what's happening in the region, there's another trend where Kenyans may not escape blame, that a lot of what we do here is copied or replicated across the border. What happened here with the post-election